Alright, what is up, YouTube? Um, First off, I want to say this video is in no shape or form going to be about a gameplay. This is not going to be an Apex video. I just have Apex in the background. I probably could have put a gameplay up here, but anyway, that's not the point of this video. This video, if you cannot tell by the title, is going to be about my thoughts on the rioting and the George Floyd death. That is obviously has the world, or not a world, I should say, maybe USA, maybe it's gone to other countries too as well about all this, but mainly the outrage, I should say, that's going on right now. Now let me disclaimer that this is my thoughts. If you don't agree with them, I can understand. If you do agree with them, cool. But these are strictly my thoughts and what I think we need to do as a people. If you have any other, thoughts or ideas or maybe words that you want to say, you can put it down in the comments. Now, please don't be ignorant and, put mean things down in the comments. Be positive about this. This is supposed to be a positive channel. But I just want to, say that before I get started. But anyway, so if you've been living under a rock, obviously, you may not know what's going on. You may not know the full story of what's going on. And I'm gonna be honest here. I know that this man died due to a cop's ill-mannered, I guess, ways or whatever. I'm not gonna call it bigotry because I don't know the dude. I'm not gonna call it racist. But what I am going to call it is an act of, I'm trying to think of the words that I want to say because I'm actually doing this live. I'm not pre-recording this. This is raw and uncut. His act of ill-mannered, inhumane way of taking people down. George Floyd died due to, well, I'm not even going to say that because you really can't say that. George Floyd's contributing deaths, obviously, if you haven't watched the video or seen the video, the cop was on his neck and George Floyd was saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, he's going to kill me or I'm going to die. And this cop is still on his neck. Now, yes, there were other cops involved, but the main person that was on him was on his freaking neck. Number one, I don't agree with how the cop handled it, and I don't agree with any form of the way that policemen are trained to take somebody down. Now, obviously, I'm kind of glad that they didn't outright just shoot him, and we would have had another one of those on our cases or on our hands as the USA, United States of America. But the part that really irks me is the fact that our police force or whatever, because this is something that I guess that is standardly trained, because I've seen other cops do this either on video or just the people in general, where they're on their back, they have their knee in their back, and that is supposedly supposed to subdue your upper body. And I've seen some cops on their neck, but they don't stay on their neck for the amount of time that this cop was on George Floyd's neck. So here's what I propose. I think that all police forces all across the world, whether it be the USA, whether it be another country, continent, whatever, they need to be retrained and find a more humane way of bringing somebody down. There is better ways to bring somebody down than just sitting on them or just putting their gun into their side or piercing them or whatever it is that the policemen do or trained to do. There Policemen have a belly of weapons at their disposal to bring down somebody. And truthfully, I think that in a certain call or a case, okay, so for example, if you have a if a policeman gets a call about a gun, about an armed gunman, obviously you need to use possible deadly force. If you have to bring out your gun and the guy is shooting at you, go ahead, shoot back, and you can ask questions later. I feel like in certain situations, call for certain measures to be taken. Now, two, policemen are, I feel like when you're in a position for so long, let's say you're a police chief, when you're in a position of power for so long, I believe that that ego gets to you as much as money like gets to somebody, or like let's just say you make $1 million a day and your ego starts to change because you're living big, you're making it, you're doing this and you're doing that. Your ego starts to change because you know what you bring and you know what you have. I feel like when you're a police officer, that you're not above the law, because remember, you still have to follow the law as well. You may have a little bit of extra leeway, but you still have to follow the law as every human being does as well. You're not going to see a cop pull a red light unless it's for an emergency. You're not going to see a cop bust a U-turn. Well, we see this on daily, but they're not supposed to do it. You're not going to see a cop bust a U-turn in the middle of the street just for no reason. Or you're not going to see a cop just blow a light with his sirens on just because he feels like he wants to, get past traffic. They're not supposed to do that because, again, you're supposed to follow and obey by the laws. You're supposed to be our big brothers. You're supposed to lead by example. Cops do not lead by example. I don't give a damn whether you are black, whether you are white, whether you are whatever color you are. It's just, you still have to follow the law. In the USA or in this world, you have to follow certain laws. In the case of George Floyd, I feel like that could have been handled differently. I feel like when you are handcuffed, you are to be put on the ground. You are to be left alone. Now, if you're trying to make an attempt to escape, why not put George Floyd? If he was so rowdy and rambunctious, why not put him into the back of your police car? You already had him handcuffed, so why are you sitting there on his neck? And I can understand he's squirming around. If he was squirming around trying to get free, it's probably because you're on his fucking neck. You have 3 fucking officers that have no business being on him. Y'all could have stood him up, sat him against the car, sat him against the ground, done something other than just sit on his neck. That's the most dumbest shit I have ever seen. And to sit on his neck for 9, I think what was it, 9-10 minutes, and then sit on him, and then sit on his neck for an extra amount of time after he was unconscious or unresponsive. That right there is stupid and asinine. Now, I'm not saying that the cop meant to kill him. I'm not saying that he meant to do that. But the way that he approached it and the way that he took it and the way that he did what he did was absolutely stupid. What's the point of cops having tasers? What's the point of fucking police having batons? What's the point of police having canines? What's the point of police having guns if they're not going to use them in the correct situation that they're supposed to be used in? If somebody has a gun, I believe you draw your gun, because you don't know whether that gun is loaded. You don't know what they're going to intend to do with that gun, and you don't know whether your life is at stake. I agree with that in this situation. Well, not in this situation, but I agree with that in the situation of, if you have a person with a gun, you draw your gun. If they have any other weapon other than a gun, you bring out your taser. You may have to use your baton. You may have to use pepper spray. There's a bunch of other, you have so many fucking tools at your disposal, but you're not using them. And I'm not trying to say, oh, cops need to use their weapons more to gain control. What's the point of having backup? What's the point of having extra officers there? Now, obviously, if you're in a situation where you're where you if policeman has backup, what's the need for you to draw out any weapon? Or what's the need for you to use extra force than what's required because you have backup with you? And that's, for me, I'm gonna say this last thing about cops and policemen and all of this shit. What's the point of so-called protecting citizens and protect and serve when you're not doing protecting or serving? You're not serving. The only thing you're serving is death. And if you're in a law enforcement officer, I feel bad for you right now because you guys are targets. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to say this as a death threat. You guys are literal targets right now to everybody in the whole entire world because of this one person. This one person that killed somebody wrongly and did it in an inhumane way. It just messed it up for all of you. So, I don't know, man. That's my take on it, at least for the cop side of things. Now I'm going to move on to us, rioters. Okay, so for rioting, I don't like it. And I'll tell you why, because I feel like we as a people don't need to riot because it doesn't get you anywhere. It's like adding flames or adding fuel to the fire, so to speak. It's like blowing air on a flame and making it spread. And two, it's hurting other people, not just your primary target, which I believe is police stations, anything that has to do with law enforcement or whatever. There is a video that is circulating right now of a man, a black man. Now get this. He's a black guy who had, I believe, a business or a store. I forgot which one. I just saw the video a few hours ago, so forgive me if my mind is fuzzy. So this guy had a business, and his business, he was in the video, he was screaming, he was crying, he was so hysterical, people were holding him back, and he was screaming at the rioters, saying, look at what you've done, look at what you've done, why me, why me? And in the video, he says that the rioters burned down his business or store or whatever it was that he was in. He worked hard, apparently, for that business for his whole entire life. He didn't have anything, apparently. He had to work for everything. He had to really come up, I guess, hard or whatever. And just for it to all end in a riot, or I guess to go up in flames by rioters. Tell me why. And he's black. Aren't we supposed to be rioting to actually take down the cops or whatever? Why are we rioting and blowing up our own stuff or putting flames to our own people? That's not the point of rioting. Rioting hurts everybody, not just us. So let me ask you this, rioters, people who are in agreement with rioting. So I have this one question. Why are we rioting and hurting us? So when this is all over, we all forget, because we're not going to be able to riot forever. I'm going to tell you that right now. We can't riot forever. There's going to have to be something done for the riots to stop. And whether or not that's the guy going to jail for what he did or for there to be changes, we can't riot forever. So, excuse me. So tell me, and this is the part that I really want to know. You really don't think that when we riot, that police aren't going to retaliate months or maybe even years later down the road? Police are still going to do the same thing. That's not the part that really scares me. The part that really scares me is that this could trickle down to other people or other, I guess, agencies or whatever. So, for example, EMTs. Let's say you're in trouble and an ambulance is called and you need an ambulance to come save you. Let's just say you're one of the rioters that maybe blew up or set fire to somebody's house just because you were in a state of rage or just whatever, and that house belonged to one of the EMT members or one of their closest friends, and they know who did it, and they come to the scene and they're like, oh wait, you're the person who did this and that and that. They're not going to want to help you because guess what, you took something away from them. My fear is that there's going to be retaliation because no good deed goes unpunished, or no bad deed. I don't know what the heck I'm trying to say, man. I just messed up completely. I'm sorry, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, everything happens for a reason in this world, and wow, I'm really at a loss for words right now. I'm trying to get myself together. I'm sorry, guys, but it's really crazy that we're rioting right now, and there's other killings, murderers, serial killers, rapists, just going out in the world doing things, and we don't talk about them. We talk about the things that are brought to our attention through the media or on video. But things like this happen every single day. How come we don't riot up for them? How come we don't do things for those people? For rioting, I don't like it because it's not who we are. If we're burning down people's houses, we're burning down businesses, we're burning down stuff like that, we're no better than the cop who just killed somebody. Because guess what? In those fires, those moments where you want to attack somebody, those moments where you want to attack the police, what if you kill somebody? You're no better than the police. You're no better than anybody else in this world who kills or harms or hurts anybody else. So when you riot, just think about these things. Like, what's the end goal here? What's the goal that you want to accomplish from rioting and doing these things? Is it really going to help make your point across? And that brings me to my next topic, and this is the last topic. Mentality. I believe that rioting isn't the answer because we have to change our mentality. We can't go out there like savages. We can't go out there like people who want to hurt people and expect to have change. We're going to be met with resistance at some point down the line. You can't fight like that forever. Look at Thurgood Marshall, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. Now, yes, in saying so, Martin Luther King Jr. did have protests or riots, I want to say. Not riots, so to speak, but he did have protests, or what's the other word I'm trying to look for? Peaceful protests. And I want to say that was more effective than what we're doing currently. I think we have to have peaceful protests. We need to talk to somebody in the higher ups, and I think we need to change our mentality as a whole. Because if we can get enough people to do that, and not just go out there balls to the wall, gung-ho, pedal to the metal people that just want to go brute force strength and just fucking go and blow shit up, I think that we could easily change the outcome in certain situations. And that's just my take on it. I don't think that all policemen are bad. All policemen aren't bad. There are some policemen that I have seen be the nicest people on the freaking earth. But because of what's going on now, every policeman is basically on a hit list. When you see a policeman, you're either scared, you're angry, or you're ready to attack them in anticipation that they're going to attack you. So I think we have to change the plan. When the plan is not working, you don't change the plan. I'm sorry, you don't change the goal of the plan. You change the plan so that way, hopefully, you can reach your goal. Is rioting our plan here? Is rioting the only plan or option that we have as a people, as a nation? No. We have other options. We could maybe do peaceful protests instead of just burning everything. Maybe instead of blowing stuff up or putting stuff on fire, we can try to talk to some higher ups. Maybe some higher ups want to go against other higher ups and maybe get the certain people that we need to get out of office, or maybe get the police chiefs out of office that we need to. Maybe we need to get people to step down. There's other ways of handling situations, and just going pedal to the metal, full throttle all the time is not going to get it done. I just want you to, and I leave you with this last little question, or a last little thought. If rioting doesn't do anything, what is the next move from rioting? What's the next move that we do as a people, that we can do as a whole, that we can do as a state, that we can do as a city to make things better? What can policemen do to make things better? Maybe policemen need to go back and look at their training regiments and look at their combat skills, and maybe they need to try more subduing methods instead of just laying on somebody's neck. Maybe they need to change the way that they're doing things. And also, here's another thing. Not every black person, white person, whatever your color is, not every person does right by the police. Like, if you're gonna get rambunctious with the police and you're trying to fight them, you're going to lose, and you're going to go down like that. Maybe. But the duration and the way that it was handled in this case is obviously not the way it should be handled. Now, I'm not saying that George Floyd deserved to die like the way he did. No, he never deserved that. What I'm saying is, not everybody who was on video shows the full video. So, with that being said, I'll leave you with that. And thank you.